All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Bearded Bug Man. I am back for another video for you guys. Right now, I just want to go over 3 pros and 3 cons of having a pest control business. And this is just from some of my everyday experiences. This is not completely breaking things down to, all the super pet peeves, but just 3 things right off the bat that I thought about that is helpful for you guys that may want to get into pest control. These are just a couple of things to think about. Nothing too bad, nothing too over the top, but let's just get right into it. So, the number one thing that I absolutely love about doing pest control is riding solo. So for me, I don't like to be micromanaged. I don't want anyone looking down my back, watching over my shoulder, following up on things that I do as if I don't know how to do my job, or just to nitpick at me about something. It's just not really my style. I typically do everything the way that I'm supposed to. So the need for micromanaging, there's no need for it as far as I'm concerned. If you have someone that is doing their job to pretty much perfection, then you let them be. There's no need to be down someone's back for nothing. And so I like riding alone. I like being able to listen to my music. I like to be able to listen to my inspirational videos, um, listen to my audiobooks, talk on the phone. There's things like that that I can do. And with just a simple Bluetooth, have at it. It's very relaxing to not have someone always calling you up, checking on what you're doing. Hey, why is this like this? Hey, why is that like that? So I don't have to really deal with that corporate structure and having all of those tiers of management and something always coming back on someone else because someone decided they didn't want to do their job. So, just speaking from the standpoint of being solo in a truck by yourself, going to lunch pretty much when you want to, getting giving the proper customer service to your customers, not having to rush off from people. You can pass along all needed information in regards to what it was you did today and why you did it. And you learn things as you go as well. And for me, I think I learn better just kind of on my own or in a one-on-one type environment versus a classroom setting or anything like that where there's a bunch of people, there's a bunch of management, there's senseless meetings, things like that. I don't do very well with those things. So for me, the being solo part is absolutely awesome. And so the second thing that I would like to get into as far as a pro when it comes to pest control or doing pest control for a living is the fact that I get to problem solve. I get to solve issues for people, and it is a wonderful feeling to know that I help someone achieve something, with my expertise. It absolutely makes my day when a customer leaves me a 5-star review. There are some fours, and that's fine. Can't make everybody happy for a 5-star, but I absolutely enjoy just the feedback in general, whether it's good or bad. I don't get a lot of bad feedback because I take care of everyone as if I'm taking care of my own home. So I generally do not have to deal with those issues as far as complaints are concerned. Everybody loves me. Everybody continues to do business with me because they do. And anyone that I bring on, I will make sure they bring that same effect. I do have I'm a part-time employee and he does an awesome job. People will call, send an email. Hey, he did a great job. I really appreciate it. You guys are professional. You know what you're doing. And I appreciate that. And we appreciate the feedback. So thank you. It's something to build off of. It's something to take into a meeting or, have a one-on-one with someone and just let them know the good things that take place. I notice in the workforce, there's always the negative side of things being brought to people's attention. Um, the good things should be brought into play as well. And so for that reason, it just makes it that much better. It's a great feeling to know that you have went above and beyond and exceeded someone's expectations of what it is they're receiving. And so we just love what we do as well. And so we tend to have that effect of great comments and just getting that feeling of knowing we did our job. So the third thing I would like to talk about is just the sightseeing. Generally speaking, pest control is done in a lot of new areas because of all of the tearing down of trees and destroying environments from things that were there before you, such as the insects and the wildlife and the rodents. And so, with that comes seeing so many beautiful things. You can see an area get started with just one subdivision and then it grows. And you see two subdivisions and then four and then eight, and it just keeps doubling and doubling. And after a while, you start to see the stores come into play and the gas stations. And before there was only one little corner store, and now there's complete shopping centers and tire places, oil change places. You just see an area grow, and that is something to see. I've had the pleasure of working in certain areas for years and get a chance to just see it go to an entirely new level. The whole landscape just changes. So many houses, so many businesses. You see the way things grow. You see where money gets put, and you see where money gets put into communities, and you just see the community that comes in and how it just expands, and you see more schools being built and things are just really really nice. And so for me, I like to see that. I love to see areas that are growing and booming and just taking on a new face, something we haven't seen before, or we've seen it before, but it's just something about when you see it happen, before your eyes. And then you look up a couple years later and it's like, wow, all of this is filled in. This wasn't here before. And it's just great to see communities built. So those are my top three things just right off the bat that I notice kind of on a daily basis that I personally have had to deal with, and just my personal feeling on what the pros of doing pest control are. So now let's get into the cons. And so number one, it's the people. I love all my customers. I love everyone, even the ones that are hard to deal with. I love them. I really do appreciate it. They don't have to use my service, yet they do, and so I really, really appreciate that. It's a wonderful thing to just know that people like me, they like my company, they like what I'm doing, and so they're using me. But there are days where people are just so difficult and their understanding is at a zero, and they have a million questions in which you've already answered them three or four times and you're still getting hit with the same stuff just because they're having a bad day or they're just not comprehending well today or whatever it is. People have a lot of stuff going, and so I try not to knock people and to really be hard on anyone. I understand that we all go through things, we're all human, and so I try not to let those things ruin the day or the mood of me or any of my guys. And so, um, just, you know, sometimes people are hard to deal with. But anyway, let's move on. I do love all of my customers, so I don't want to make it sound too bad. Like I say, none of this was going to go to the extreme. I didn't break anything down. It's just the normal, everyday stuff. And so, I would like to talk about pets. People will not put up their pets. And sometimes they do. And other times it's like, no, come on in, he won't bite. But yet he's showing you his teeth. Ma'am, he will bite. Please put him up. Do not let this guy bite me, please. Just lock him in a bathroom, put him in a closet, whatever. Put him outside. I'll be in here for 10 or 15, 20 minutes and then I'll be back out of here. So please, just if you own pets, just put your pets up when the service guy comes. The mailman, the electrician, the plumber, whoever it is, please help us out. Put up your pets. Um, I've been bit a couple times. Once was by a pit bull that just happened to get out. She locked him up, but he got out and he came for me. He did bite me on the wrist, but nothing major came of it. I was able to defend myself and it wasn't that big a deal. He did draw some blood, but it wasn't life threatening or anything. It could have been so much worse, but we got through it. It was a scary event, but we got through it. So that's the most important part. Another time I was bitten by a chow on my knee, and that wasn't very fun, but hey, it happens. The guy left the door open. I guess he could smell me. He come right in the house and sniffed me and he went for it. And luckily I had my flashlight out because I had a feeling something would happen. The dog seemed pretty aggressive outside. And so he came in, he went for it. I was able to smack him with my flashlight and get him off of me. He did draw some blood. It was pretty sore. It could have been much, much worse. The doctor actually was surprised the bite wasn't worse, but I'm glad it wasn't. Chows have really, really nasty bites, and so God was looking out for me. Definitely could have been worse, and it could have been somewhere other than my knee. So glad for that. And so, lastly, what I want to talk about is just the traffic. I'm in Dallas. We have a lot of traffic. Um, we're about 2 million people strong here. Metroplex wide, we're at about 5 to 6 million people, and it is very, very busy here. So um, the commutes in the mornings, in the evenings, of course, even sometimes midday, just because of all the construction. It gets really, really crazy out here. There's lots of road raging. There's, always accidents. There's always, or not always, but there's the occasional road rage shooting. And, there's no need for that. But, people get angry in traffic. You may not have AC. You need AC in Dallas. It gets really hot. It can easily be over 100 degrees. And if you're riding around out here without any AC or a way to cool yourself off, you're gonna have days where you're extremely angry while driving. And so there's a plethora of reasons, but that's just one that comes to mind as a guy who has had to drive a truck that didn't have AC in my beginning days. And it was horrible. It's a very hard thing to deal with, and it can sometimes get your attitude out of whack for sure. And so luckily I'm pretty even keel. I've not had any moments of just blow ups and getting out of control while driving while I didn't have AC. It could always be worse. And so for me, that's how I look at things. I could not be able to drive because of a physical reason or a mental reason. And so, for those reasons, I am grateful that I am able to get out here and perform and do my business. But traffic is definitely one of those things that you should think about if this is something you want to get into, especially if you are in a busy area such as I. The DFW area, I believe, is like the fifth largest metroplex in America or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Those numbers are a little old that I'm spitting, but it's growing pretty rapid here. So I would say we're probably still within that top five. I remember hearing that maybe like 10 years ago, but I would be willing to bet you we're still in the top five. But look it up if you like. But I just wanted to go over just a quick list of things that I encounter every day in my business as a pest controller. And so hopefully this helps out someone who is on this path. Perhaps you're thinking about pest control, or maybe you just started your own pest control service. And I'll have more tips to come. I am currently going into year nine. Once the springtime gets here, this will be year nine that I have been in business. And so I'm just here to pass along some major nuggets to you guys, drop some gems, hopefully entertain you in the process, but give you things that you can use every day. And it won't always be about pest control. It will be about other businesses and just business in general. But this was one of the things I thought about and figured I should make a video for. Hopefully you guys get some enjoyment out of this and learn something. Continue to watch me, the Bearded Bugman. I will be back soon. Thank you so much. Continue to watch. See you next time.